Alright, welcome back to the Box Podcast. This is episode 6, and I'm all by myself without anyone doing this podcast with me, because Alex isn't here, and you might be wondering why he isn't here. He's just not going to be doing the podcast anymore. It's going to be just me for this episode, but in the future I'm probably going to have like a different person on each episode, and it's going to be pretty cool. It's just that you're probably not going to see Alex on here again. But yeah, it's going to be just me. Hopefully I'll be able to think of some things to talk about. And yeah, it's going to be good. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but yeah, I haven't done a podcast by myself at all before. So yeah, that's I haven't done this before. I'm pretty inexperienced. If it turns out terrible, then that makes sense, because it's probably going to be terrible, judging by my predictions. But yeah, we're just going to see how this goes. And like always, you're probably going to hear a little bit of clicking and typing in the background as I'm going through things and like sorting it out and things, you know, because I'm not really experienced enough to be able to know how to sort that kind of stuff out. But anyway, it's been quite some time since the last episode, and we say that every episode, because like pretty much every episode, because it's hard to sort of find a time where we could both record an episode together. But I guess it's not going to be that bad. I don't know. I don't know what this is going to be like. I'm going into this blind, but yeah, anyway, like I said, it's been quite some time since we did the last episode. Like, that was November when we did the last one. It's been like over 2 months almost. So I think it has been over 2 months. Like just, I don't know. I don't know when the last one was. I'll have to check back on that. But yeah, loads of stuff has happened since the last episode. Like, I think there was like an egg that was like slowly becoming the most liked picture on Instagram or something. I don't really know. I don't really use Instagram. Like, I use Twitter and Reddit because, I don't know, I just really like those. They're really good. But yeah, I heard like the egg is like surpassing, I think, Kim Kardashian for like having the most liked tweet out there, basically. Like, there was like a whole like meme about that and things, and you know, it's like the world has become really crazy since the last time, since November of last year. But yeah, what else is there to talk about? Loads of stuff has happened. I think last week, it wasn't last week, it was weeks ago. I said that I was going to see Into the Spider-Verse that day. I think it was episode 5 was the last one, and I think I said I was going to talk about how it was and stuff. It's pretty late to be talking about it now, but that's not going to stop me from saying that I absolutely loved that movie. That was a great movie. Like, going into it, like, I was a bit worried knowing that it was an animated Spider-Man movie made by the same people made by Sony Pictures, who made the Emoji Movie. And I don't know, like, it was gonna have like Miles Morales in there, like telling his origin story, if they do that, also with like Spider-Verse stuff in there, and like it was gonna have, I was just really worried going into this that it was gonna be terrible, but like it really subverted my expectations, let's just say, because it was I was not expecting it to be as good as it did, like, at all, you know, like, and I'm sure you've heard like things about people saying it just being awesome, because it is. Like, they perfectly blended like his backstory in with the Spider-Verse stuff really well. And that was a thing, like I said, that I thought was going to be really terrible, and just going to turn my music down a little bit. Like, I'm listening to music as I'm doing this, and I haven't done that before, because yeah, you gotta, when you're doing a podcast with someone else, you gotta listen to their voice, and it's kind of hard when you're listening to someone else singing. But anyway, Spider-Verse was really cool. That happened. There was a bunch of like neat little references in there, and I'm gonna sound like a complete comic book nerd because I am right now talking about them. But there was like I think in the contacts on his phone, like one of the things was Brian M. Bendis, who is like a writer for Marvel, who actually wrote the Miles Morales comics, and wrote his original, like his first original run, actually. Like, in my opinion, it wasn't the best, but that's a really nice tie-in. Like, they had the suit from the game in there, the PS4 game that came out last year. That was an amazing game. Like, I haven't played it. Like, I saw a playthrough of it online because I do not own a PS4. But, yeah, it had that in there, had that suit in there. And there's loads of stuff in it that's really cool. You know, like, I would heavily recommend it if, for whatever reason, you haven't seen it yet. Yeah, just watch that movie if you want to experience a good Spider-Man movie, basically, is my advice. Because it is. And, yeah, you're gonna love it. And, like, we've had loads of, like, serious Spider-Man movies in the past. So to have one that's kind of crazy with, like, everything really weird, like, is just, really cool. So, anyway, I should talk about something else before I start to go off on too much of a tangent, which I actually hope that happens, which is a strange thing to say. I hope I get off on a tangent, because it means that I have something to talk about, but I do need to talk about some other things. I have my timer going, my 20-minute timer for when I tell a story, hopefully. So, yeah, I'll have to think of something. We usually talk about dreams, so I'll have to think of, like, a story that isn't a dream. I guess I could think of, I don't know, something will come up, whether it's a dream or not. Dreams are always, like, the most interesting stories for me, because I don't have too much of an interesting life, but dreams are just, like, where all the crazy stuff happens, and I don't know, my dreams are just crazy, like, I'm not gonna get into stories now, because that's a topic for later on. My music is really loud, let me turn it down. I do have a few, like, topics written down in my notes that I never used, because, yeah, just random thoughts all the time. Let's see. Oh yeah, something else that happened was, there was this, like, police car chase, like, this crazy car chase that went on for hours, like, and they streamed it, like, I think one of the news channels, in the USA streamed it live on YouTube, which I watched, like, half an hour of, or 40 minutes of, or something like that. And basically the guy's plan was to, like, put the police cars, like, in the video, or, like, put something in the video, and, like, or, like, the cop cars or something, and be able to copy strike that video as it was being streamed live or something weird like that. And obviously it didn't work, like, he's an idiot. But, yeah, like, I saw the live stream, and I had no idea that was what was going on. Like, he was going, like, super fast, and he had, like, a shattered windscreen. And yeah, like, it was crazy. But yeah, basically what the guy's plan was to, like, was to have something, pretty sure it was the cop cars, like, something in the stream, so that he could copy strike it later on, and, like, get the revenue of that. Like, he is an idiot. Like, people make stupid jokes like that all the time, but that's what the guy's plan actually was. Like, He obviously lost the case, and he got something wild, like 150 or 160 years sentence. Like, because obviously, like, so many people could have gotten hurt. Like, thankfully, like, no one really got seriously hurt. Like, I think there were, like, some injuries, but it wasn't, like, an issue at all. But, yeah, so many people could have gotten hurt in, like, what he caused, that he just got a huge sentence. And, yeah, that was, I want to say he deserves it, but I don't really know all the stuff he did. I mean, I'm sure if I look into it, like, he probably does deserve that. I don't know. I'm not gonna have too much of an opinion about it since I don't know too much about it, but he's an idiot. His plan was an idiot, and yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. So yeah, what else has come up in the past? I do have a few things. I have loads of topics. I need to look into that. Like, I have, like, pages and pages in the notes app. Let's see. Something I've seen recently is the new DC show Titans on Netflix. That's really cool. Like they have it's basically Teen Titans but live action and like 10 times darker. Basically, like people online have said that it's like a terrible show, and I actually enjoyed the heck out of it. Like, I'm sure if I tried to really study it as a storyline and as, like, from an acting perspective and all this stuff, I would be a lot more critical of it, but I'm just trying to, like, sit back and enjoy it, which is the whole point of it, you know? Like, I think there was this guy that talked about it on YouTube. He's one of those, like, comic book YouTubers. Could have been... It was like Captain Midnight or someone like that. I'm not sure who it was. If you know who he is, comment down below if we have anyone watching. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I think what DC is doing is getting, like, characters that people think are really, like, I guess childish, because they had, like, cartoons like Teen Titans and, like, Teen Titans Go, which are, like, obviously geared towards kids, and then they're just like, no, they can be really dark like this, to all the people who don't read the comics, which is like 90% of them, or 80% of them, whatever. But yeah, it was a great show. Like, it sort of, I guess, like, the plot is kind of shaky. I don't want to spoil too much about it if you haven't seen it. I would recommend it, but I think too many people say that they hated it, that I don't want to be like, oh, you should watch this because it's the best thing in the world. Like, I'm not gonna, like, absolutely be like, this is the best thing in the world, but if you're interested, just check it out. It's kind of okay. Like, they have so many characters in it that they have, like, Doom Patrol in it. They have, like, who else do they have? Like, the storyline basically involves, like, Trigon and stuff, like, basically a main Titans villain and all that stuff. I don't want to go into too much detail about it because obvious spoilers, and I'm, like, saying the same stuff over and over again, but, yeah, that happened, and it was alright. I think, like, it was released originally on this, like, DC streaming service that, like, you have to get a subscription for, like, and obviously that didn't go well if they had to, like, release it on Netflix later on, but, yeah, I don't know, I don't really know too much about that, but, yeah, I should talk about something that isn't comic book related, because, you know, talking about that a little bit too much. I do have a bunch of things in my notes, and a lot of it is, like, geared towards, like, talking about it in, like, with, like, a duo of people, but, with this, I don't really have that. Like, it's just me by myself. I'm trying to talk about, like, stuff that happened recently, but I can't really think about anything. And I'm not going to resort to idea generators, because that doesn't work. Because, yeah, don't use idea generators. They're rubbish. Let's see. I might have to cut some stuff down, because that might be the reason if the 20-minute timer goes off a little bit too early, because yeah, it's kind of hard when I'm just by myself, just talking without a friend of mine to join in. That sounded really retarded. Let's see. Like, I have loads of ideas, but, like, I don't know, it's strange stuff. I have written down in my notes, I had written down in my notes something interesting. I have to go back to that. Where is it? I think it was in... I have, like, 3 different note pages in the app, because... Why not? I'm not really organized. That's why. Oh yeah, something interesting I've been watching recently is this YouTube animated series by a YouTuber called Dark Matter 2525, and it's called Power Corrupts, and it's really interesting. Like, it's this story of like the Christian God being like in a simulation as like a test to see like how we would sort of control the universe given the opportunity. And it's like in the future, it's kind of like science fiction, and it's like, it's fascinating, like blows your mind. I would heavily recommend that. The voice acting isn't the best, but that doesn't matter if like you want to see like a really fascinating story. Like I've been watching that. Like an episode comes out like every 2 months, maybe a bit more, because it takes a really long time to animate, and he's the guy making it, Dark Matter 2525. He's currently writing a book, like making a book adaptation, because like that would be like taken a lot more seriously than like a cartoon on YouTube, and like the what's it called? It's a lot easier to like explain the story and like flesh out the characters and stuff. But I'm just having a good time watching the animated show, and yeah, it's really interesting stuff. I would recommend that if you're into that kind of stuff. Let's see, what is there? I was really hoping going into this that I would like go off on a tangent like I always do, but like as soon as I'm by myself, it's the hardest thing to be able to do, because yeah, it's way easier when you have 2 people. I think I'm gonna end up saying the same stuff over and over. The 20-minute timer is about to go off soon. It's got like 2 minutes left. What's something quick I can talk about? Like, I do have a few things planned, but like a few sort of vague ideas in my head. But it takes a long while to talk about. You know, I'm in that sort of little area of like where you need a quick topic to talk about, and you know, it's kind of hard to think of something that perfectly fits into there. Looking through my notes, I have like some really deep things written down. Like, I have no idea how I came up with this stuff. Yeah, hopefully when I start to get like more and more guests on here, like I could do like 1 or 2 solo episodes scattered in between there, but I'll mostly have guests is the plan. But when I do that, like, it's probably going to be a lot easier, because I can like, maybe like the guest could tell a story, maybe I could tell one, we start talking about it. It's way easier when you have guests, and hopefully in the next episode I'm gonna have a certain YouTuber on here. I'm not gonna reveal who it is, because that's gonna be a bit of a surprise. They're way more way more well known than me, and they have like 2,000 subscribers, which says a lot about me. Actually, yeah, you know, I'm slowly growing, hopefully. The plan is to put out like more and more episodes over time, but yeah, at the moment, I don't know, this episode is to just fill the void of like nothing for ages and ages. The timer's got a few seconds left. I'm just going to cancel it and tell a story. So I noticed this story written down in my notes. So basically, a while back, like I'm talking like 4 years back or 5 years back. I think it was 5 years. Like, I was going on this this little school camp kind of thing, and I went with my dad into this this camping store to like get some stuff, like to get like a rain jacket and a few things, and I got one of those like plastic things where it's like a spoon and a fork and like a knife built into one. Like on one end it's got a spoon, on the other end it's got a fork, and like on the edge of a fork it's got like the edge of a knife kind of thing, and it's like plastic, like it can't hurt you. But it's really helpful like if you're camping and you want to like be able to eat your food without carrying loads and loads of knives and forks. I mean, you don't only need to take like one set, but you know what I mean. It's like just a lot easier, and it like clips onto like the little bowl that you can take with you. And the guy there, the guy working there that the guy that was working at the counter, he told this interesting story where he was basically like in an airport, like going through one of those like scanner things, and he had like one of those plastic knife spoon fork things like in his bag, and they actually didn't let him take it on the plane, and that's really interesting. Like, I'm not sure what country it was in, but like I know he wasn't here in Australia, but yeah, he had one of those and they didn't let him take it on the plane, which is the stupidest thing, because like you have literally like a plastic fork, basically. People call it a spork. I don't know what the thing is, you know what I mean. I think I've described it well enough, but yeah, like that's what that's what happened, and you start to wonder like how nervous people can really get about this stuff. Like, literally a fork, a plastic fork that you can't take on the plane because they thought he was going to like hijack a plane with it. Or, you know, like you can't take little weapon things, like you can't take like an actual like metal knife, but like at what point does it just become too ridiculous? Like, you can really tell how how ridiculous they're being and how like nervous they are about nothing. Like, obviously you'd want to be kind of careful. You want to be really careful on a plane, because like when you're up in the air you have no like police or anything. Obviously all you have is like the flight attendants and the guy flying the plane, and everyone else who has to put up with being sitting in a chair for several hours. So you can't really do much, so obviously they have to be really careful. But like, there's a certain point where it just gets like way too ridiculous, and that's obviously like where I draw the line. I draw the line way before there, obviously, because like, you wouldn't be scared at all if you're on a plane and this guy is just like, I have this plastic fork. You know, like, you're not gonna be like stabbed to death or anything, obviously. Like, and it, like the type of thing it was, like, it can't even hurt you at all. Like, if you get the knife part and go like rub it across your skin, like, how can I say it? Like, try to like slice it across your skin, it doesn't hurt at all. Like, it only like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I could rant about this for ages, like, but I don't know. It gets kind of boring when I go off on a tangent about the same thing like that. But yeah, I should talk about something else. Let's see. I have many things to think of. I'm listening to 21 Pilots at the moment, their newest album, Trench, which I'm a huge fan of, because I don't know, like, 21 Pilots recently has been like a huge, I guess, obsession of mine, I guess you could say. Like, I recently got their newest album, because I heard the song My Blood, and like, I really like it. The video for that song is actually like pretty amazing. Like, go ahead and watch that video. If you just type in 21 Pilots My Blood, that should be the first thing that comes up. It sort of made me slightly feel a little bit emotional by the end, because, yeah, you know, But yeah, I'm not gonna say anything about it. Like, just experience it yourself. But yeah, the album Trench is really interesting. Like, there's like a music video for pretty much every song in it. It's kind of like their other album, Blurry Face. But Trench actually is like telling a story of like this sort of clan who's like going up against these like cultists or something. I don't really know too much about it. Like, I think there was last year when it came out, there was like this whole thing where like they uploaded things to their website and like hid clues here, and like I think Josh actually like left a hint to like how the story was going in like an award speech at something. Like, it's crazy what these guys did, but yeah, like, check out the album. It's really good. Like, first off, when I listened to it, like, I was just like, who listens to this stuff? And then later on, like, it became the best thing in the world, like, and now it's all I listen to. But yeah, I think the first few tracks, hold on, let me just search up some stuff, hold on. Let's see, the first few songs, like the first 10 songs in the album, I'm a big fan of. Let's see. I'm searching it up at the moment. Let's see what songs are in there. I think pretty much all of them up until Pet Cheetah. So basically the last three, I don't know, I'm not really a huge fan of, but Jumpsuit to Bandito, they're great. My personal favorites are Jumpsuit, Morph, My Blood, Chlorine, Smithereens, and Nico and the Niners. Those are absolute masterpieces, if you ask me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I used to think that 21 Pilots songs sounded kind of dull, but like, over time they sort of grew on me. Like, it's got a lot of like bassy sounds and like it's got more like rhythm and stuff, which makes it sound kind of dull, like to a person who's been listening to stuff where it's more like sort of, it has more sort of color in the notes, I guess you could say, if that makes any sense. Like more saturation, let's say. That's don't know if that makes sense to you, but yeah, like, I used to listen to a bunch of that stuff, and like listening to 21 Pilots, I was just like, oh, this is kind of dull, but like now I love it, you know. Like, they've got like the sort of, they're combining like rock with like punk with like rap stuff. Like, it's really cool. Like, they're really unique, and that's basically a great thing to have when you're in the music industry. Like, if you're just a basic cookie cutter thing, you're gonna survive for like a little while, and then you're just gonna die down. But if you're unique and then you like keep changing and stuff, like, people are gonna want to keep coming back, because the stuff that's formulaic is just gives off more of the time that it's from than you as an actual artist, basically, if that makes any sense. Like, say, think about the 80s, for example, where they had a bunch of like upbeat like synthesizer stuff. Like, you can hear that and be like, oh yeah, that's from the 80s. Or if it has its like own unique sound, you can be like, oh, that's this certain band, you know. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, the really like famous artists have things that's like genre defining from that time, but like that's because like they sort of pioneered that kind of thing, possibly. I don't know, I'm kind of getting off on a tangent, which I know I said I know I said it's a good thing, but you know, I'm not good at speaking by myself without anyone talking to, and I should talk about some other stuff. But yeah, be unique if you want to do music. Like, combine a bunch of different stuff, combine a bunch of different sounds that hasn't really been used before. Think of something crazy. Yeah, I don't know. What else is there to talk about? I'm almost at the 45-minute mark. I mean, I'm at 30 minutes, like, it's gonna be another 15 minutes, obviously. I hope I can go for an hour without, like, getting too boring. I need to look through the list. I have loads of things. Like, there has to be something in here. Let's see. I have some weird things written down in here, looking back on it. Like, obviously, things sound, really perfect in your head, but then later on when you look back on it, you're like, what was I thinking? Like, usually, alright, whatever. I'm just gonna say this. Like, usually, I think of, like, some crazy idea, like, at night, like, if I can't sleep, and I just write it down, and then, like, in the morning I wake up and I'm just like, what was I thinking? Like, when I read over it again. But, I don't know, like, that's when you come up with the craziest ideas, and it's, like, super random, and I find that stuff really fascinating, how, like, you know, like, when you have a dream, this is strange, like, when you're, like, half tired, or, like, you have a dream, your entire, like, sense of reality just, like, flips on its head, and, like, you think of stuff that doesn't even make any sense, but it seems completely normal in your head. Like, dreams are supposed to be, like, something that's, like, a reflection of what you have in real life. Like, I think there's a bunch of different things that, like, a dream can actually mean. But, like, to have it, like, absolutely, like, just make no sense and be super crazy, like, that's fascinating to me, you know. And I think that's really important that you, like, write down the kind of dreams that you have, because, like, you're never gonna think of anything as crazy and, like, out there, as, like, something in your dreams. Like, just, yeah, I just find that stuff really fascinating. Like, people don't even, like, understand dreams, like, at all. Like, we know so little about dreams, which is why it's, like, so fascinating. Trying to look through, like, just random notes to have some kind of idea. I don't know, I said that I couldn't think of anything if I don't have someone doing this podcast with. Hopefully when I get guests it's going to be a lot easier. Alex is really good at, like, coming up with stuff to talk about. Let's see. Without Alex, I'm nothing. Let's see. I mean, I guess, like, by now, even if I did a podcast with, like, another person, like, this would be around the time that we start to have nothing to talk about, so I guess I'm not that bad at it, but, yeah. I have, like, something random in my notes that just says 18 years, which doesn't make any sense. Let's see. Oh, here's the old list of, like, I'm looking at the notes on my phone. Here's, like, the old list of stuff that I wrote down ages ago, that we could possibly talk about. Let's see. Oh yeah, I have this random thing written down. So basically, I don't know how normal this is, but, like, when I get a haircut, like, I feel, like, this weird sort of feeling in my lower back. Like, when the guy uses, like, clippers, like, the things that make that, like, zzz kind of noise, like, I get this sort of weird feeling in my lower back, and I don't know how normal that is. Like, I've had that ever since I was, like, really young, like, 8 years old or something, like, and I don't understand it at all, but, yeah, it's this strange thing that I don't even get, and, yeah, it's really odd, like, I don't know if there's, like, something to do with, like, the nerves in like, the back of your neck, that are, like, linked to, like, your lower back. Because, like, I think it might have something to do with your spine, but I don't know. Like, it's always when they, like, shave, like, the back of your head, basically. That's when it always, like, kicks in for me. So, it must be, like something to do with that. Like, if any of you people know much about the human anatomy, if anyone's even watching this at all, which I doubt, let me know in the comments, because that'll be an interesting thing to find out about. Yeah, just let us know about that, because, yeah, that's going to be interesting, because I know very little about that. I'm not much of a science kind of guy, because, yeah, I don't know, that's just not really my thing, but something like that would be interesting. Let's see. I have loads of stuff written down, but like nothing is actually a good topic. This is interesting. I want to like talk about all of these. Let's see. What was I thinking? What was I thinking in like September of last year? That is when that is around the time I started the podcast, I think. But I really have no idea, to be honest. Let's see. Let's see. Because, like, I guess I could kind of talk about recent stuff, but I don't know. Like, I can't really think of much recent stuff. Like, recent stuff in the news and things like that. Let's see. I'm looking through, like, the top news articles in the Google app. Let's see. I did not know about this. Apparently, there's a tornado warning issued for Cape York as Townsville flood waters rise. I had no idea there was a flood in Townsville. Like what the heck? I had no idea about this. This is... Wow, alright. Winds up to 125 kilometers per hour forecast, and 20,000 homes could be inundated in North Queensland. That's close to where I am. I mean, I'm not in North Queensland, I'm in, like, South Queensland, Southeast Queensland, but, like, that's interesting. I had no idea. This is... Like, I'm seeing pictures on the little article that it's on, and, like, I had no idea this was actually a thing. Okay, wow. Oh, there's this other thing that says mewling leopard cub found in passenger's bag at Indian airport. Is that usual? Is that normal in the Indian airport? Can I say that? Or is that not politically correct enough? I don't know. Stuff that people try to take on airplanes is just blows my mind. Like, there used to be this TV show about, like, crazy stuff that people try to bring on the plane, and, like, they just have airport security being, like, just going crazy on them. Because, like, people have tried to bring, like, snakes and things, like, on a plane, like, crazy things like that. Like, it's on this TV show I used to watch. I'm trying to remember what it is, but I don't know. Yeah, it's strange stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna turn up my music because it's really quiet. But yeah, hopefully you're enjoying just having a relaxing time listening to my voice. I wish Alex could be here. I'm not gonna say that. He's gonna feel kind of guilty if he listens to this. Hi, Alex. If you're listening to this, how are you going? How are you going? That sounded really stupid. Let me know in the comments. That would be interesting. Let's see. What's something interesting that's happened recently? Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this. I actually spent the night on a boat recently, like 2 weeks ago, in Tasmania. It's really cool. Like, my dad's friend actually got this, how had this yacht that he owns at the moment, and yeah, we just took that out for like 2 days, and slept on the yacht on the boat. It's not really a yacht; it's like a what's the name? I don't know. What's it called? It has like this certain name. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's like this guy's boat that like you can actually sleep on, and you can go like there's like a table and some chairs and like a few rooms downstairs, and it's like you can sail it and stuff. That kind of boat, that can fit like a maximum of say 6 people sleeping on it, I guess. If that makes sense. That makes sense. What am I talking about? Am I gonna start to go crazy? I don't know. But yeah, it was really cool. Like we went around, like stopped on this island, like on this beach for a bit, and then like I swam in the ocean for like a little while. It was freezing cold. It was great though. Like we went around like a few islands, like down near like the southern coast, if that makes any sense. That makes sense. I don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah, there's that. Good stuff. Really unique experience. Like I hadn't really done anything like that before. Well, in like a really long time. Like when I was, here's a story. When I was like 10 years old, like me and my dad went on this like sailing course for like 5 days around near Victoria. All you non-Australians are going to be really confused by this because you don't really... Just search up the Australian states and you'll know what I'm talking about. But then again, like my geography for like any other part of the world is terrible, so I guess that's kind of the same in my case. But yeah, I went on this like 5-day sailing course with my dad, and it was pretty cool. Like this was like, yeah, I said it was when I was 10 years old. This is like many years later, if you say that. My dad always used to be like really big on the whole sailing thing, that was a stupid laugh. That sounded disgusting. That was a disgusting laugh. But yeah, my dad is a big fan of sailing, actually. And yeah, it's pretty cool. That kind of stuff. What else can I talk about? Okay, I know this is kind of, no one really cares about this, but there's this comic that I've been reading recently, called New Superman. It's this, DC Rebirth comic, actually, and it's about this other Superman in China, and they have, like, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman in China, that the government is, like, trying to, like, engineer their powers and create, like, a Chinese Justice League, if that makes sense. To sort of like go up against the West and like sort of, I don't know if that makes any sense. It's really interesting like how political that the comic actually went with that, because like I thought it would just be like this fun kind of thing where it's just like, oh, we have superheroes but they're actually in China instead of America. It's really cool, but like the kind of political philosophy, I can't talk, that they're going on with it is actually like really interesting. Like they would never be able to make that kind of stuff like in like the 60s or the 70s because for obvious reasons, but it's just really fascinating thinking about that kind of stuff. And that kind of thing could never be like published in China with the kind of censorship that they have. Can I talk about this? I don't know. But, yeah, stuff there is heavily censored, but, yeah, it's really interesting. Like, they have the whole tropes of, like, having, like, a superhero team and, like, what's the name? And, like, a villain team and all that. But it's really interesting, because, they have the main, like, Justice League and stuff. And the team of villains is actually called the Freedom Fighters of China, which is really interesting. Like they play them off as villains, but it's they're called the Freedom Fighters, which is fascinating. Like when I first read that, I'm not really explaining this very well. Basically, what happens is basically the team is like just teenagers, basically, with like the powers of the Justice League. Like they have like a Chinese Superman, and like a Chinese Batman who has like all the technology, and like a Chinese Wonder Woman who can like control like the lasso of truth with like her mind, which is really cool. And they actually have a Chinese Flash in there, where it's like actually she was in the DC Rebirth Flash run, which is really cool because like now she's in that, and it's just really cool. But yeah, that's a really interesting comic that I'm reading at the moment, and actually the Superman, the Chinese Superman, his name's Kong Kenan, and he has like this to like control his abilities. He has like this sort of system where it's like this sort of, how can I explain this? Like there's this guy who's trying to like teach him how to use his powers, and it's like kind of like activating like a different part of his body to control like a different ability. Like something in his legs controls his like X-ray vision, and like his mind controls like laser vision and all this stuff. It's really cool. Like it's kind of like chakras kind of thing. It's like definitely a different take on this character that we haven't seen before. And I sound like a huge comic book nerd talking about all of this, but yeah, that's basically what's going on recently. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I would definitely check out that that comic. Yeah, no one really cares about comics. I don't really know why I'm talking about it. Well, people care about it, but not that many people care about it. You know, I'm listening to Pink Floyd at the moment. Their song "Another Brick in the Wall" Part 2. I used to be a huge fan of Pink Floyd, actually. Like, I used to listen to Dark Side of the Moon and Wish You Were Here. Like, those are my two favorite albums, but yeah, been listening to their album The Wall a lot. Like, I tend to listen to like a huge different sort of diverse kind of type of music. Well, not really like super diverse. Like, I guess pop music isn't really my favorite thing, obviously, because I think it's kind of trash. Apart from 21 Pilots, who are like kind of slightly pop, but yeah, like Pink Floyd is like from like the 70s and like the 80s into like the 90s. They have some like early 2000s stuff, but I don't know, I listen to them, and I also listen to like My Chem, and also like 21 Pilots now, who I talk about too much, and also The Used, Trophy Eyes. Yeah, they're my sort of favorite bands at the moment, but could change, because in the past like 2 years, the type of stuff I listen to is like heavily changed, like a lot. That happens a lot, actually. Like at the start of last year, I used to listen to like a bunch of stuff from like the 70s and the 80s, and I thought that was really cool, but it's like changed a lot since then. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm listening to. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the end of this episode. We're just about getting into 50 minutes. I might have to cut some stuff out, so it could be a bit shorter than that. But yeah. I don't really have anything to say to end this off. It would be really good if like I actually had like an outro for this, because we literally just say, okay, thanks for watching, see you later, and then the episode ends. So I don't really know. I don't know. That does kind of work though. Thank you for tuning into this one episode of just me without anyone else actually being in this. If it was really boring, I apologize, but I think I had talked about some stuff that was kind of interesting. I don't know. I still have no idea how I managed to talk about just random stuff for 50 minutes without just running out of ideas. I mean, I guess I kind of did, but you know, I guess it was alright. Anyway, thank you for listening to this. And yeah, see you later. Have a good day.